Hey there, in this video I'm going to explain to you why most people build marketing funnels that don't work. And really what I'm going to go over is the strategy that I use to save time and to stay focused on the appropriate things as you're planning out your marketing funnel. Right? So usually what people will do when they want to generate leads, generate new business, they think of the process all together. And the fatal mistake they make is they dive right into a tool, whether that is Infusionsoft or HubSpot or Salesforce, MailChimp, Constant Contact, whatever the tool of choice is. People try to do three things at once that should be done totally separately. All right, so the first of those things is the outline, right? So this is the outline of how the funnel actually works. So as an example, here's a printout I just did of something we put together for one of our clients. So this is a very quick overview of a marketing funnel, right? So that's what I would call the outline. Now each one of these parts, like this right here, is a sequence all on its own. So that sequence actually contains contains a whole bunch of different events, right, inside that sequence. But what I want to explain right now is the problem with trying to do all of these three things at the same time. They try to do the outline and I'll call it the structure, right, which is actually the technical part, right? This is inside the tool. So this is the actual setting up of the campaigns and triggers and tags, and whatever tool you're using has different features and different terminology, but it's building the structure within the tool, right? And then they try to do the content, and they try to do it all at the same time. So I have learned through years and years of experience that you can't do it that way, because when you put on your outline, you're thinking of how this all fits together. Where do the leads come from? What happens to them after they come into my system? Do they get one email? Do they get a phone call? Does a sales pipeline opportunity get created? What actually happens to that lead at that time? That's where your mind should be here. Now, if you start thinking of all of those things, how it's supposed to work, how that's supposed to flow, and your mind is also thinking, wait a minute, can Constant Contact send an email like that? Wait a minute, can I trigger this in the MailChimp automation feature, or do I have to use Infusionsoft instead of Salesforce? These are totally different parts of your brain, right? One is really thinking of how this creates an ideal, perfect customer journey, and the other one is based on a tool set and functionality and limitations. So that's really bad. The third thing is the content, right? So content is the writing. What is the email going to say? What pictures are going to be in it? What videos are going to be in it? And I'm telling you from so much experience, if you try to do these three things together, you will take far longer and get far less and worse results. So what I do is I start with just the outline. And again, this is I guess I will call it the funnel outline. The funnel outline is something that looks like this. Now this isn't the prettiest thing, and I'm not I never claimed to be an artist, but this is a funnel that talks about sending out an invitation to an event, right? There's a lot going on here, right? And the only way that I'm able to do this as fast and effectively as I am is that I start with something like this, where I map out every single possibility. What happens if the person gets my invitation and they don't answer it? What if they get the second invitation and they click it, but then they don't actually buy a ticket to the event, right? So all of these different campaigns are to address if people do what I want them to do, and then if they don't do what I want them to do. So there's backups to catch people that fall through those holes in the buckets, right? But I'm staying in that part of my brain, which is how can I create the perfect customer experience and not miss out on any opportunity, right? So I build it here. I build the landing pages. I put in little notes about the messaging, but I don't go deep into content, right? So this is just warm invitation, right? I don't have to go into content writing mode or copywriting or creativity mode. I'm really in the structural part. After I do this, I then go into the tool as step 2, and I actually focus on just replicating what I have here in the tool. Now, before I do that, you can see over here, can you see it? Over here is a list of tags. For this campaign, I was using Infusionsoft, so I actually listed the names of the tags because I know how Infusionsoft uses tags, and this is something I like to plan out also before I go into the tool. So if you do it that way, you're ahead of the game, and when you jump into the tool, all you're doing is building the structure. So you're building the structural part, right? The technical part of the tool. Then once that is built, you can test it, you can just test functionality, and then finally, take a break, take a day off, think about it, then you can go into the content. What am I actually going to say to these people? What is going to make this journey special, and how can I really resonate with my ideal prospect? So that's how I go about building campaigns. Hope that was an enjoyable video and you learned something, and let me know by responding to this or posting below what else you want to learn about. All right, thanks. Have a great one.